Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Greatest Known Podcast in the known motherfucking multi-universe. This is
what up, hoes?
Yo, dude. This guy.
We're coming in aggressive. We're coming in aggressive. Fuck that shit. Coming in aggressive today.
It's like Nate, isn't he? He's just fucking Eddie's all hyped up and he's there with his little fucking blunt in front row. Ooh,
bruh, who do you know that would do that?
Edgy. Ooh,
nobody
edgy.
else would do that. I think ooh, edgy. That's just how we do, homie.
When I saw it, I was like, there's a kid behind you, my guy.
You don't give a fuck? Hey, look, man. Hey, for the record, you can't go to a UFC event as an underage child. I believe you need an adult with you.
Yeah.
So that adult should have handled their business. Fuck all that shit.
Yo, the next time some guy, like when you're walking around with like one of the bambinos and whatnot, and when you're walking around and there's going to be like some dude who's just like fucking injecting heroin or smoking crack like next to him.
I'll fucking slap him.
Yeah. Yo, but you're not going to do it if it's Nate Diaz though, are you? Do you know what I mean?
Goddamn right. Yeah, I'm not going to do it with Nate Diaz. That's retarded. No, my kids won't be in an area where there's someone shooting up heroin. That's just the dumb part. That's just dumb. No, I'm just kidding. Everything. I think my favorite one so far is the white dude, the older white dude in the back. He's got his thumbs up like that in between Nate and the other guy. I was dying when I saw him. I'm like, homeboy's trying to be like, you see him hip? I'm cool.
Why? Like, first off, like, I'm not one to judge.
Hey,
but don't you think that blunt looked a little? How can I put this? Looked a little bit amateurly rolled. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out. It just looked.
Who knows, man? Hey, he might have rolled it in a hurry. Never know.
He must have been in a hurry to try and get that fucking airtime and the conversation. People talk about.
Hey, look, they put him on camera. He didn't ask for it. He said, Nate, we need you in the front. All right.
Could you imagine, like, Nate's just chilling there and he's probably thinking to himself, what's the best way that I could piss off Dana White and the Golden Snitch?
Weed.
Just straight up toting. I'm just like, all right, my guy, that's cool.
Regardless, it was funny as fuck.
Oh no, I'm with you 100%. Do you know what I mean? I think that I think it was one of those cool things that we got to see where like we're kind of seeing things modernized and everything go a little bit further forward. So we're getting there now. We're finally getting to that point where we don't have to look at certain people and worry anymore. Like people can portray themselves however they want, and you know the whole cannabis thing is one of those where like we're very lucky now that things are starting to progress and change.
Well, I mean, like I know here everyone's trying to pretend that we want to stop this opioid crisis, yeah, right? So like some pharmaceutical companies are pretending that they're going to stop pushing those, which I say pretending because they're usually full of shit, but just making that statement that we're going to stop pushing these so people stop getting addicted, to me opens the door for weed to be legal a little bit more. But we'll see.
With that same thing said, I don't want to harper on too much in the sense with the Nate thing, but very interesting that I don't know if he did this on purpose or not, but I think he's intelligent enough to kind of know that he has to kind of make noise, just to make waves, considering as recently over these past few days, begrudgingly, I'm getting the horrible sinky feeling that Conor's not going to defend his title whatsoever.
Me too.
And the other two things that are kind of making me feel that way, I'm not saying it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it's going to happen. So before anybody starts thinking I'm that guy again, I was right the first time, just throwing that out there though. I don't like the more and more that we're talking about this Conor Floyd MMA project. I understand why some people are giving it more headway and they're giving it more speed and they're giving it more this, that, and the other. Part of me is very, very concerned because it wouldn't affect Floyd's legacy. It wouldn't affect his legacy. No. What's that 50-0 isn't going anywhere. It's not a legacy. So if he was to lose in MMA, there's no downside. But my friend, when we were watching UFC Austin yesterday, turned around and said to me, he went, you know, if Floyd got knocked out in 30 seconds,
mm-hmm.
he'd make like 10 million a second.
Yeah, pretty much. Look, it's about money, man. I don't understand anyone trying to make any fight sense out of that, quote unquote, that possible fight. Could it happen? Shit. I didn't think the first one was going to happen. I thought you and everybody else said it was going to happen full of shit. And my face when they announced it, I was like, what the fuck? No, really? So I won't be surprised if it actually happens. That being said, I don't. That saying, "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me." You ain't fooling me twice, motherfucker. I didn't pay for the first one. I'm not paying for the second one.
I'm okay. I don't have to do that, but I will say this though: the other alternative reason why I don't believe that Conor's going to defend his title is because I have a slight feeling that Holloway's slowly politicking and slowly getting in the head of Conor per se. And I'm not saying that Conor. For me, it kind of feels like, and this is all in Conor's own head, but it kind of feels to me that Conor has made himself the bad boy of it all, and that's totally fine because the villain always makes the money because people want to see him lose. But with that same thing said, I think there's a slight bitterness towards Holloway because he beat Holloway with one leg convincingly. Let's put that out there. Both of them were young, so nobody can throw that out there. Nobody can say, Conor just boxed him up and, he's not primarily a striker as Holloway. He was. And Conor has a suspect ground game and he fucked the shit out of Max Holloway, who's probably had more of a grappling background growing up. Both of them were a couple of years ago, though.
Yeah.
Right.
And I get what you're saying. Are you saying you think he's gonna move down and get that 145 belt again?
No, hell no. It'll be at 155. But I could imagine that fight happening.
Look, man, and again, the divisions look screwed out of the interest of money for WME. If that's the way they want to go, I mean, little by little, you're kind of killing the legitimacy of your sport, right? The more I think about it, the less I think of it of MMA as a sport. I mean, I don't know why, but it's just like a weird thing where the more it happens to me, it's like it's not about a sport; it's a business.
Do you feel like it's more like prize fighting per se?
Right, and it is, but I mean, like,
no, but I mean, like, to the
strictly
traditional sense, yeah. But it's not essentially about winning the title. Like the prize isn't about the title; is just a bonus. It's just a nice little extra thing. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't really hold anything else. It's kind of like being an all-star in the NBA. It's nice, but it's not a ring. It's like cool getting gone.
Well, it's like when you try to sell something online. All these like online marketplaces have a thing you could pay extra $5 and it's featured for like 4 or 5 days. You get that belt, you're featured. That's it though.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, Tyron Woodley's featured. No one gives a fuck. You know what I'm saying?
I'm with you 100%.
So that's why the more I think about it, the less I think of it as a sport. I'm like, this ain't fucking sport. Like I'm done. I'm done with this whole trying to do right for the sport. This isn't a sport anymore. It really is getting that fucking, because sports follow rankings. In the NBA, you get playoff seedings depending on how many victories you have, your rankings and so on and so forth. In college basketball, for example, in college football, you have a ranking depending on how your team is doing. You're ranked number 1, you're number 5. Okay, well, guess number 1 and number 2 are going to play for the title or play in this bowl. So in MMA, those rankings are bullshit, and it's about who wants to see who's going to pay more for what.
I pose the questions here because there was a recent discussion. Apparently they did. The UFC lawyer said that if fighters were to develop a union, and I know we've been over the union situation, but let's put that to the side for 1 second. Do you think that's the only way to save the sport so that it's not just about money as opposed to rankings and titles? Because if the fighters get paid more, and the UFC lawyers have even said if they had a union, they'd get paid more money. If there was more money for every fighter, would it start being a case of rankings would matter more because then there'd be, levels of payment? It wouldn't be just like, well, you're really popular, you look really nice, or whatever the asterisk next to the person is.
I think in order for that to happen, look, I like the union idea. But even the guys that write about it and tweet about it, the journalists can't even get their own fucking union together. You know what I mean? Like, what hope are we giving the guys that are in that shit? And again, the contractor thing is the biggest hang up in this whole union thing, in my opinion. They're not employees. They'll never be employees. That's never going to happen because employees require benefits and constant paycheck and shit like that. And PFL or World Series of Fighting, I think, tried that. It didn't work out so well. They had to sell. So I think it's gonna be one of those things like it's gonna turn into boxing. Like, look, just deal with it, I guess. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. I think in order for a union to work, though, if you're gonna try and make it work with a certain language that keeps these fighters as contractors but gives them certain rights that a union would allow, you have to have both sides do what I call the right thing. And I don't know what that means. I don't know what that is. I know what that means, though. The right thing is often the hardest thing to do, the toughest thing to do, right? When we say the UFC's got to do the right thing for this fighter, for example, little midget guy out of Jackson's fights at 135 now. He used to fight at 125. Dodson.
Oh, John Dodson, right.
Dodson got his opponent dropped out. They didn't want to pay him, right? Everyone's like, UFC, do the right thing. The right thing would have been to give that dude a show money at least, right? At least to show me. That'd have been the right thing to do. They're not willing to do that. If they're not willing to do that, what makes anybody think they want to do the right thing and you know, do right by these fighters? And same on the other side goes the top 5 fighters, top 10 fighters that make the bulk of the money, right? What Connor used to be Ronda,
Jones, Brock, GSP.
Jones, yeah. Though that list of fighters that's making the actual real money. The right thing to do was for all those guys to get in a room with Dana White going, look, we ain't fight no more until you do right by everybody else.
But the thing
that's very difficult to do.
It is, but they also would make more money as well. A lot of people have this impression that they
no. I agree. I agree what you're saying, but that's less money to them. I mean, I get what you're saying. I mean, it should be theoretically they make more money, but you got to share that pot of money.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be that though. It wouldn't be that. See, I think there's a misconception, in my opinion. I think there's a misconception that if they were to say everybody else gets more money, they wouldn't make as much money, and that's not the case. That's not how it would work, because they'd be entitled to more money. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if
right,
more money, it wouldn't be just the lower tier. The upper tier would make more money too, because at the end of the day, you know, if the big stars don't get paid right, the big stars don't turn up, and then you don't have anything. So everybody makes more money. That's why when you look at people, and I'm not trying to dick right here, but I really do hope that if Conor does come back, he gets some form of co-promotion with the UFC, because I think it's a pivotal thing. I think it's a very important thing, the same way that it's been for boxing. And I think that the more that you start to elevate yourself to being a star, you no longer work for the man, you work with the man. And that's the elevation of status. And I personally believe that in the future, more and more on that can happen. And hopefully we will see that, so fights can get more money. Because if Conor was to have his own promotion and he's working with the UFC, he can turn around and say, well, my guys are going to fight, but they're not going to fight for anything less than X, Y, and Z. And that's going to be more than what they'd make if they were just a fighter on a UFC card working for the UFC.
Right. And again, I get what you're saying, but the problem is that money that's going to go to everybody else for more money, including top guys, got to come from somewhere. You know what I mean? Just because they have a union doesn't mean people are going to start paying more all of a sudden, and then everyone still gets rich. The UFC would have to do the right thing, again, the right thing, and let go of a little bit of that profit. Not much, because it wouldn't be that much. It really would not be that much money for them to lose.
By that same principle, if the fighters earn more money, they put on better performances.
Allegedly, that's not proven. We don't know that.
Yeah, but to a degree.
I know, bro. How many supercards have we gotten that were total dog shit?
Oh yeah, 100%. But by that same context, though, like, this is my point. We don't know. A lot of fighters will tell you, and you know, when you've done weight cuts as well.
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
When you're doing anything that's strenuous and stressful, it's not you can't be at your optimal under stress. Why do you think, like, when people like the big like LeBron James, when he was saying that this off season he had like the most elaborate nutritionist and strength and conditioning coaches for this season, because he wanted to be at his optimal. When you can afford to do everything at the peak of your powers, that's when you're going to perform at your best, because you have all of your bases covered and you don't have to worry about rent. You don't have to worry about, am I going to be even able to afford food the next day for this fucking training camp, let alone, you know, pay my rent, my electric, whatever.
Right. But again, it's a lot of ifs that I don't think the UFC is willing to, you know, work with. And thus, this last 5 some minutes that we've had, me and you going back and forth, is the reason why there is no union. You know what I mean? It's just nobody has, everyone wants guarantees. Nobody wants to take a risk. That's in every business. That being said, the guys that make the most money, for example, in other businesses and stuff like that, are the ones that take the biggest risk. You know, to bring it to MMA, you know, Conor moving up. That's a risk. You didn't have to do that. You're going to stay cush at 145, 155, defended the belt a bunch of times and the greatest of that division ever. And in a few years and moved on. Okay, I'm going to move up. All right, cool. You know, do your thing. I'm going to go fight boxing. Risk. Big time. Not everyone does that. Not everyone can handle that. You know what I mean? You know, Nate, I'm going to fight the biggest name in the UFC on 12 days notice. Fuck it. Let's see what happens. You know what I mean? Win or lose, I win. But, you know, still, it's still a risk. Everything's a risk.
Of course. Like, we're looking at now with people like James Vick, who fought on this card. And obviously, for a guy who's 6'3", cutting down to 155 is...
That's ridiculous. I don't know how he does that. But if he can keep that up just a little longer, he's getting that title fight. Because you can't deny this kid. Like, sure, he didn't finish the fight. Totally get it. But if you don't think Francisco Trinaldo's a bad motherfucker, he's wrong. He's a bad motherfucker. But Vic shouldn't have said all the shit he said before the fight. You know what I mean? And got everyone's hopes up for a finish. But I like that I like that he doesn't like the little fights. I like that he wants the Cowboy fight, that he wants the all the top fight, you know, the Ferguson fight, the Khabib fight, all those fights. I like that. I just hope he can hold out at 155 just another year. You know what I mean? Get him a title fight to see how he can do.
Do you think this is the fight to make then? Him versus Cowboy?
I would love to see that. I would love to see that because people don't give Cowboy enough credit on the ground. And I think James Vick would get that fight down. You know what I mean? And Cowboy's a bad motherfucker on the ground. I mean, please believe he's got sufficient wins on his record. Y'all need to fucking recognize that he can fucking play. Or he can fucking fight.
That cut would be too much for him. That's my.
For who? For Cowboy?
Yeah, because he's been fighting at 170 for a fair few. Well, the past year.
I mean, even last night he looked like he hadn't cut. He looked fucking solid. Good.
100%. I just wonder if he's putting on that kind of 170 weight. So like he's a 170 now. Like his muscle mass is 170. If he was trying to cut now, 160 would be a push. If he was to let himself go a little bit, he could get up to like 180. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think it's possible. I just don't know. I don't think they'll make that fight. I don't think Cowboy's interested in that fight. I think Cowboy knows he's not going to fight for a title. I think he knows that.
Really, he was. I think politicking though for that Khabib fight. He was just saying like I could fight Khabib.
Because I don't get him paid. Not only that, let's say he fucks around and beats Khabib, knocks him out with some fucking crazy finish him somehow. You know what I mean? Who doesn't want to fight Conor for the big money if he's still around? I think what you're getting right now is a bunch of guys realizing that the fucking the nice little red panty night is about to be fucking bye in about a few months, like permanently. You know what I mean? That's why guys are angling for Nate Diaz right now, because they know they're too far away. So they're just like, fucking give me Nate. Nate's got a name. Nate will give me a decent payday. Let's do this shit.
Well, I think it's more so if you beat Nate, then you can angle to fight Conor. That's what
you can angle to fight Conor now if you want to.
No,
I mean, yes, you can. If you fucking talk loud enough. Yes, if you talk loud enough. You some crazy talk loud enough.
Tyron Woodley's not getting that shot.
Because no one wants to see Tyron Woodley fight.
Yeah, but he's still talking about it. Just because you talk about it doesn't mean that you can make it happen.
Okay, on that point, do you think he's gassed every fan out? Because I think I've heard no one I talk to wants to hear a word out of Woodley anymore. They just want him to shut the fuck up now.
I think the problem is with Woodley is that he's so articulate. He's such an athlete. And it's one of those things that you don't want to like him. Like I don't want anybody bringing the race thing into it because that's bullshit. Because people don't like Colby Covington. So like, you know what I mean? He's a dick. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's not a race thing. I just think that some people just rub people the wrong way. And like, you see anybody who's, you know, we've all been at moments in it. Like, if you see a good-looking dude who's jacked, but he's an absolute asshole as far as his personality is concerned, you don't want to deal with him. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's the kind of way that Woodley's kind of got this chip on his shoulder. And I said this months ago, if you're going to be that way out, fuck it. Start doing the whole fucking, you know, Floyd Mayweather thing. Like, have people pay to see you lose, if that's going to be the case. But you have to be technically sound.
Right, you have to pick one, sort of, because you can't just be in the middle.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And
You have to be
personally
like,
think you kind of play
either,
both angles.
right, it's like either I'm going to be a good guy or I'm going to be a bad guy, but I got to be something at this point.
Is that John Jones? It's that John Jones thing. But the problem is, though, is with John Jones is we knew
Crazy.
that he was kind of bipolar in a sense. Like
That is mine.
he had a good heart. We know that he's got a good heart deep down. We just know that he's a fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. We know both of these things. So I don't think Woodley knows where he's at. I think Woodley's trying to be TMZ, but he also wants to be, you know, this MMA fighter. But it's like you can't trash talk and then be on TMZ being a nice guy. Bisbin, when he talks shit in MMA, he talks shit when he's on a TV show. You know what you're getting with him, and then people adore you for that, or they despise you, which way you want to go about it. But Tyron Woodley, man, is not helping himself as far as he needs to fight somebody, and he needs to get a finish. And that sounds so stupid because you don't need to do shit per se. But if you want to get a money fight, people want to actually see you fight. And
he's got the perfect chance with RDA, in my opinion, because RDA is not gonna let him just sit back and fucking lollygag on the fucking outside of the fucking octagon right there, just running around, just away. Oh no, get away from me, Oh, no, I'm gonna run this way. Like that RDA is not gonna allow you to do that. He's gonna cut you off. He's gonna hit you. Can you hit him back? Even if you have to wrestle, fucking fine, but do goddamn something.
I'm telling you right now, if he tries to pressure and tries to suffocate Woodley, and I'm putting this a bold statement out here, Woodley flatlines him.
And that's what we want.
Oh,
and that's what we want.
Of course.
So I think Woodley should be like, look, man, pay me enough. I'll fight this guy. I'll snuff him. And then I'm going to be a big name. Let's go.
You need to have that conversation with Dana White. Instead of talking shit, I don't know which one is. You need to have that conversation. Right, I'll fight RDA. Next fight, you're giving me a money fight, and I'm fighting for X amount of 100,000 million, whatever the price is.
If you win.
Yeah, I'll put on a spectacle, and when I do,
now we're back to that risk again.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, is at this point, it's like you might as well because you're not getting anything anyway.
Oh, absolutely. No. It just depends on how comfortable he is with that. I mean, look, he hasn't been in my opinion, he hasn't been willing to risk me very much. And look, I give Wonder Boy 100% of the credit for being as good as he is, and Woodley having to fight the way he did to beat him. Totally fair. Okay, but you're not taking a risk, like as far as Woodley goes. I mean, now I'm not saying get out there and get snuffed, but if you're gonna try and sell your fight and you want people to watch you fight, you gotta give them something to watch.
It's a scary thing. I think that as far as Woodley's concerned, the guy needs to get something going, because if he doesn't, soon, the ship's going to sail, and
no one's going to care.
Go from there. Like, because I've got this thing of like, and I know it sounds ridiculous to propose, but there's a part of me that wishes that like Dana White was a little bit more open. And a lot of people say that he is derogatory towards his fighters and this, that, and the other. But I need him to turn around, and I don't care, because Dana White needs to be the bad guy. He needs to be the face of the company. Yep. You don't have to like him. I totally understand that. He needs to turn around and say, we offered Tyron Woodley this fight, and this fight on this date. He said no to all three. If that's the case, he needs to say that, because all we're having now is we've got this thing of like, and it doesn't make us, admire Tyron Woodley anymore when Dana White turns around and says Woodley's full of shit. Like, it doesn't make us go, God damn it, he's being nasty to that fight. We don't care, because we're like, well, maybe he is talking shit because it's Tyron Woodley. Like, it doesn't make us feel anything. Whereas if Dana White just turned around and said he doesn't want to fight these three guys, well, if he doesn't want to fight one of two of the three guys, then he needs his belt taken away from him.
And
that's how we need to be now. The same with Conor, and but focusing on Woodley right now, that's what needs to happen. If you don't accept a certain amount of fights, if you aren't injured,
got to go.
You've got to fucking get that belt, get it, because in boxing, if you don't fight the mandatory number one contender in X amount of months, I think it's over a calendar, like a 12-month period. If you don't defend one of your belts whilst when you're fighting for another belt or defending another belt, if you don't fight the other champion within that 12-month period of the last time you've had the title, defended it or won it, you got to go, man. You got to go. That belt's got to keep on moving.
Yeah, and that's a problem we're gonna end up at. I'm telling you, very soon. we're gonna be boxing. Because all these guys not wanting to fight anybody. Everyone's got multiple belts, and it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna chill till I get paid. Like, all right, well,
this is why you need to take belts off folk.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I was talking to a friend of mine that was watching MMA before even I was, and he was telling me that he stopped watching. I'm like, whoa, when'd you stop watching? He goes, like around UFC, like I think 205. And I go, that's like one of the best pay-per-views ever. Why'd you just stop watching? That's pretty recent too. I was like, why'd you stop watching? He goes, it's all bullshit now, man. Like it used to mean shit. Like I'm like, okay, well, explain yourself. He's like, all right, well, Conor wins 2 belts, right? Now he's champ and all this shit. That's great. He goes, and I didn't I don't think he explained himself clear enough. So I'm not giving his point at all, how it's like in his head. I guarantee it, right? But what got me was the fact that he stopped watching because the game's gotten to this point where it's like boxing. Because he's like, it used to be martial arts. Now it's boxing. Like this is how boxing is. That's why boxing lost popularity. And you have, you have your characters, but when those characters are gone, if you can't replace them, what the fuck happens? And so,
go on, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Go. Finish.
No, I was gonna say, like, if you don't have those characters, what do you got? You know what I mean? You got boxing now.
Well, the only thing that I've got to say though is, with that same thing said, I go back to Curtis Blade when he fought against Mark Hunt last week, week prior. This is where you've got to kind of go, we need it to be boxing and be, a sport and not martial arts for one reason. And I don't agree with this. I'm a martial artist first. That's John Pro. But when it comes to a spectacle, when it comes to entertainment, why is kickboxing not, whether it be Thai or freestyle, why is it not bigger than boxing?
True. Yeah.
Why we when we're watching, for the most part, when we're watching any MMA contest and we're watching 2 men or 2 women compete, we want, for the first part, we kind of want them to throw down. We want to see somebody we want somebody to get knocked out. Do you know what I mean? The first thing when you see a fight, you don't go, I hope he gets armbarred. You don't though. It's never the first thing that you go into your head. It's never the first thing. You're always like, man, I hope these guys throw down. With that same thing said, kickboxing has never and will never be as big as boxing. And it's baffling to me, because when you watch Glory and you watch what's it called, Lion Fights, when you watch those, there's some amazing fights, some amazing finishes. These guys are going for it, but it's still a martial art. You're watching people compete within these select rules where these guys are only going to do, and girls are only going to do that. Whereas MMA, it has to be a sport. Like, if it's going to evolve and make money and be bigger than boxing, to a degree, it's the same as boxing now, with the current slope that it's kind of
right.
There was a moment where it was bigger, and now it's kind of leveled out a little bit more, which is still an amazing feat. But nonetheless, I don't know, man. It kind of worries me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really have any answers that you could to how to make this thing grow to what we want it to be. I don't even know if we know what we want it to be.
It's a hard one. Know? It's a hard one, because when you look at, say, like, kids coming up like Sage Northcutt, who had how could I put this? He had a iffy performance last night. He showed great promise, and he showed slight periodic moments of evolution in his game, and then he showed some rookie mistakes. Again, he's young, and I totally get that, but still, will Sage ever live up to his potential? And if we're going to kind of move forward as a sport, not necessarily just him per se, but the next generation of fighters, which are complete MMA competitors, mixed martial artists, we need them to be able to have that all kind of figured out. And we don't have that many. And is the ship going to sail too quick?
I mean, we'll kind of see. The ship's being driven by Dana White. So whether or not it's going to sink is kind of dependent on him. Real quick, because I just saw the comments right now. Opinions on Sage's dad. Marty says, opinions on Sage's dad, help or hindrance. And Jesse said, Sage's dad is bad news. To where Marty replied, it's not good. Mostly frustrating having 2 people, Kate said, yelling over each other. I only got to see live the co-main and the main. because I was out for, I did my Valentine's Day yesterday instead of Wednesday. So I know it was fun. No, but I tried to get back in time to catch at least the main card, and I didn't catch most of it. So what the fuck is going on there? Like, what happened?
Sage's dad is the minute version of LeVar Ball. Like, he's that guy he's the coach at the side.
Was he yelling at the coach or yelling over the coach or what?
He was yelling at Sage, and it's always right. Whenever you see a good corner, they give him constructive criticism. They try to point them in the right direction of where they need to kind of go for the next round, and they try to give him a little bit of a boost of you did well. Do you know what I mean? That's a good corner, in my opinion. And you have one guy who has one bit of dialogue, and the other guy gets his bit of dialogue, and then maybe he goes back. If not, cool. There's your game plan. Don't overload the brain. Let him go back out and fight. He's one of them dads, man. We see it all the time when you go to any kind of sporting event where there's that dad coach. You know what I mean? Who, he's a martial artist himself. Fair play, but it's like sometimes you need to rein it in.
Hey, mad character issues on that guy though. I remember he used to sell coke and steroids and shit. So the character issues are there.
Him ever having steroids around.
All right. Yeah. You should see. Oh man. I still think there's a little bit of fuckery going on here with Sage. That's my opinion. I don't think that there is now, but I'm saying this, and people could fucking think what they want about this. I'm due to have a son hopefully in the next week / 2 weeks, so hopefully he'll be here soon. But don't let it don't get it twisted. He looks excited. He's probably pissing himself a little bit.
No, I'm excited as fuck. I can't wait. Everybody's sitting around and be like, "Are you nervous?" Nah, I can't wait. But anyway,
oh, dude, fuck that. I'd be shitting myself. Go ahead.
Imagine from the age of like when he can walk, and imagine me giving. And bear in mind, this is 15. Beginning of the noughties of early 2000. So we all know, and I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but have you ever had like pre-workout that one just pre-workout, like, and it wasn't your intention, you just bought some pre-workout, thought, fuck it, I need to get through this, I'm gonna have this pre-workout. You can feel sound, you can feel it, you can feel it in face. Smell sound. That's how strong some pre-workouts are.
I have taken, and in my opinion, there's only two kinds of pre-workout. The pre-workout that makes you feel like you're the fucking Hulk and Superman, which is who the fucking knows what's in here for pre-workout, and the pre-workout now that makes you shit yourself 40 minutes before you go work out.
Yeah,
it's one or the other.
Facts.
So goddamn, dude.
Said,
that's a good point.
You're giving your kid who's like 4 or 5 year old protein shakes, and again, protein shakes. Some of them had skeptical recipes back in the day, and some still do now. If you're giving your kid at 4 or 5 years old pre-workout where he can smell sound and protein shake that literally gives him an extra inch of muscle every time he clenches, like, I'm sorry, my guy, you're gonna end up with Sage Northcutt. Like, I'm sorry.
Okay, what do you think about his personality? Because at first, here's the thing. No, I get that. At first, I thought he was full of shit. It was an act. Now that we know for sure it's like real, does it creep you out at all? It creeps me out.
His face creeps me out. Did you ever see the film Never Back Down?
Yeah.
Yeah. He looks like the guy out of Never Back Down.
Okay. Yeah. No, but that regardless, like, it's still like I'm like, I'm waiting for someone to hit the off switch. And like there's like a button and behind his ear, and they flick it, and it just turns off. And all of a sudden, like, yeah, bitch, what's good, motherfuckers? Oh shit!
like that meme that I posted for this episode.
Yeah. So,
bro, like,
that'd be the shit.
I love Sage though, because I think, you know what, right? A lot of people give him stick, and I get it, but it's kind of cool that, like, he's a nice guy. Do you know what I mean? Like, we hate on people so much, right, for being assholes, for being dick, being racist, homophobic, all those other kind of derogatory kind of things. But this guy, right, people hate on him because he's polite, he's nice.
He seems fake, that's why they hate him. But he's not fake, but he's not. It's clearly like real. Yeah, so, it's quite clearly the real thing.
You can, like, we've seen too often, too much now, and we see it to the point where it's like you see live reactions, like you see him like respond to something in live time, and I don't care what anybody says, there's barely anybody on this planet who's that media trained unless you've been media trained all your life, and he hasn't. Like it's not like he grew up in that kind of scenario. Like he worked with certain kind of media things, but he didn't do interviews all the time, and he didn't do live interviews all the time. It's not like he's been able to do this. Do you know what I mean? But it's like everything he reels off, like that Embedded with Tyron Woodley, where he's on about like seasoning the chicken. He's like, "You're gonna use all that, Mr. Woodley?" And you're like, well, this guy, like, he's the nicest guy, like, ever. Like, I don't care what anybody says. Like, Sage for president. Sage for president.
There you go. I mean, look, I don't know. Anyway, what else I want to talk about this card? Oh, Derek Lewis.
That was iffy.
No, it wasn't iffy. It was just kind of like, was it just me, or after the whole thing finished, you were like, oh, shit, he got a knockout. You were like, okay.
I think, in fairness to him, he needed this win to kind of rebuild. This was kind of like
sorry, real quick. Raider, what up, Raider? Raider in the comments says one of these days someone's gonna release a roid rage video of Sage.
Yeah, that's gonna be literally him picking up his motorbike and smashing it over his ridiculously jacked knee. Like,
God, I fucking
knees.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous.
Bruh.
It's ridiculous.
It looks like a hematoma or whatever you call it on his fucking knee. Like,
yeah, dude. You know what I was hoping, now that I remember that picture of him and the Diaz brothers? Yeah. Like, he's probably like, yeah, Mr. Diaz, I would love to come train with you guys for sure. I'm Stockton. Like, you know, it's like 1 week later, he's over there training with him and shit. 1 month later, UFC, whatever the fuck, he's fighting whoever. It's like, fuck you, bitch. Slap. Sounding like fucking Mickey Mouse out there. Fuck you, bitch. Like, it'd be funniest shit ever. That'd be great.
Coming out to Tupac, hit him up. I'm just saying, first.
Exactly.
In the clicky claim.
And the post if I interview, hey, I'd like to apologize for all the bad words in that song. I'm sorry, I didn't pick it. It's my bad. Okay, Mr. Diaz, Mr. Nate Diaz, Mr. Nate picked it. He picked the song. He said, "Don't be a bitch. Go out there, fuck this guy up. We're gonna play some Tupac for your walkout." Sorry about the cussing, but still, you know, like, that'd be the best shit ever.
God is good.
That'd be the best shit ever. And he's like, strictly for my homies, and walk out. That'd be the best shit ever, man. No, but back to Derek Lewis. On as far as like, because I mean, you want to give these guys matchups, right? And the only one I want to see Derek Lewis in, I don't give a fuck what anyone says. I want to see him in Francis Ngannou. Yeah. Just negate the takedowns in wrestling, fucking fist flying. That's the only fight you really want to see him in.
Though, like, this is why I don't understand why kickboxing is not bigger. But carry on, sorry. I'm just.
It should be. No, dude. The fucking cage Muay Thai, John Wayne Parr, should be a huge thing. I don't get it. Like, it should be massive. Just I hate fucking people say, like, 'cause I'm going to UFC in Glendale here in April, right?
Oh, is this like Michelle Watterson?
No, absolutely not. Hell no, bro. I'm totally not going at all to see Michelle Watterson. Anyway, no, but last time the UFC was here, I remember being surrounded by people, and like anytime the fight hit the ground, I was like, stop hugging like pussy, stand up and bang it out. I'm like, bitch, go watch kickboxing, go watch fucking cage Muay Thai, you dipshit. You know what I mean? This is MMA. What the fuck? And I know I'm gonna hear that shit again here. We have awful MMA fans in Arizona. I don't give a shit what anyone says. We show up, but I mean, there's like a tiny percentage that's like educated in any kind of combat sport here. Okay, everyone else is like, "Oh, UFC's here. Just bleed and all that shit." The best crowds are in Japan. Those fuckers are polite and they know what the hell they're watching. And Canada, to a certain degree.
Yeah, Canada's a good shout as well. We're very bad for it over here in England. If there's any form of grappling, we kind of go. Yeah, we kind of get a bit salty, but that's only because, like, for us, boxing's like the primary. Sure, yeah. That's like one of our primary sports. As far as, like, when you think of historical, we've had a lot of, boxers, and do you know what I mean? Like,
right?
Not just this, but like Ireland as well. But I don't know when Derek Lewis won, I was kind of like, it felt like the same shtick, and I kind of hope that we get to actually see him have one more win and then maybe fight Ngannou. I don't want to see him go against Ngannou straight away because, like, I don't want to see Ngannou get fucked. Because you know what would be scary? If Ngannou, for the next 6 months, 3 months, whatever, imagine if he's just training wrestling.
Yeah.
That's all he's doing. And then we're going to see him double leg Derek Lewis and then elbow his face through the canvas. That's all. Fine.
That'd be entertaining. Fuck.
Yeah, but but you want to see the stand and bang. You want to see these two.
Yeah, that's true, dude. When Derek Lewis came on, and what was that?
That was just me. Sorry about that.
Okay, it's all good. When Derek Lewis did that trip takedown and basically flattened Tabor on his back, I was like, all right, homie, just sweep him already. Like Derek's like positioning was so awful. I'm like, just sweep him. It's coming. And then he swept him, and I'm like, this is it. Fight's over. And then Derek Lewis muscled him back over. Like, what? All right, Derek, I see you. What's up? And then when he got the finished knockout, it's like, all right, cool. You know, that was that fight. That's cool. The main event. Okay, you tell me what you think, because not that I don't know how to feel about it, because I know how I feel about it. But a lot of people were annoyed that after first of all, okay, you tell me if you agree. Which gets pointed out of the way. The first knockdown, yes, he looked like he slipped. Did he slip or did he get knocked down?
He looked a little bit more of a slip.
Right. So that's why he got up. He's like, okay, yeah. And they get a little bit of a hug. The hug is what people are pissed about. How fucking crazy is that? Like, I get what they're saying. They're like, hey, you don't need to do that. You could do it before and after the fight. You don't have to do that after the first knockdown. I'm like, first of all, it's a slip. It's not a knockdown. Second of all, I get it, man. It should have just been like a little like, hey, cool. Fair play. Thanks for letting me back up.
Nobody complains, though, when we see people do that, though. Like, when they do the fist bump or all that. It's like...
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm sorry I didn't lay this out before the fight. Like, hey, man, look, if I slip and you let me back up, I'm going to come in for a hug, okay? I'm not going to do this shit, all right?
Imagine if you'd come in for a hug.
No one does that. Oh, for sure. But the fact that they respect each other that much, like, you kind of had an idea what was going to happen, right?
I'm just saying, though, imagine that shit. That'd have been hilarious.
I mean, shit, remember who was Mayweather fighting that this dude hit? Oh, fuck it.
I know who you're on about.
The cat's name is like right here, and I can't remember his name. Yeah, but it was a low blow. Homeboy comes in for like a hug, and Mayweather just goes crack, ends him right there. Yeah, and finishes him right there. I was like that, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's fucking cheap. That's cheap." Maidana, thank you. Right, Raiders on her shit. Maidana, yeah, comes in for a hug, and she's boom, and just drops him, and everyone's like, "That's fucking cheating." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's not cheating. It may be cheap in sportsman like conduct. Maybe cheap.
Winning losses matter."
Oh, exactly.
Give me my paycheck. Hey, if you like me or not, I'm going home with the W.
Yeah, if cheap's gonna keep me undefeated, cheap it is, bitch. Let's go. But hey, did it bother you at all that they showed Leonard Garcia on camera like 18 times and they didn't say his name once? Or at least not that I saw. I did bother me. That guy's a fucking legend.
I know, but I kind of think to myself like
that's Cowboy's homie. He was there to support Cowboy, and that dude's a bad dude. Leonard Garcia has some fucking wars in his day. Some wars.
I just think to myself though, like sometimes. There's a lot of times like I don't like seeing the audience and who's in the audience and stuff. Like I just want to see the fucking fights, man. Like it's the same principle as the ring girls and shit. Like fuck all that noise. Let me see some fucking fights, dude. Like
dude. Fuck that whole point. Speaking about ring girls, there's an official ring boy, and I died laughing because I said who was gonna be before I even heard the name, and I was like, the only person I know that would do it would be like Elias Theodoro.
Yeah.
But guess who's doing it? And I'm like, get the fuck out. I got it right. I'm like, yeah, he's going to be a ring card boy.
He's going to look like one of the wild boys out of fucking Jackass. That's what he's going to fucking do.
I don't know what he's going to fucking do. But most people are going to tune in for at least 15 seconds of the first fight to see what the fuck this dude wears. It's going to be awesome.
Come on, man. Like,
it's going to be fucking hilarious. It's going to be a good laugh.
I think
I also want to see if he takes it serious. I want to see if he takes it serious or he laughs at himself while he's doing it.
If he wears heels, he's gonna laugh at himself. But if he doesn't,
he's not. He's gonna look like Tarzan, dude. It'll be like
I bet you he wears heels.
You think he wears heels?
I bet you he wears heels. I'll say right now, I'm calling he's gonna wear heels.
That's some dangerous shit. Hey, he's been on those mats and up those stairs. He knows that's dangerous. He shouldn't do that.
He's gonna do it. He's gonna walk around. He's gonna wiggle his self around. And there's going to be some dudes that are going to be really pissed and going to say some really homophobic slurs.
Oh, yeah. He's about to hear some shit.
I can whoop your ass in this fucking thong and this bitch.
Yeah, come see this shit. Someone's going to take videos and put it on the internet, too. Come on. No, but it's where's the next card at? You know, the next Invictus probably Kansas City. More the majority of theirs are. If it is, man, that's a weird place to have that. I'm just saying, like So hey, you know what? Fuck it, man. Do you equality for everybody?
Yo, by the way, I'm just really excited that this card did really well, and it kind of made me feel very happy about watching like more MMA because, like you say, sometimes you see some of these cards and you go, okay, and then you kind of hope that the card's good. Me and my friend were drinking last night, and usually we go with the thing of every time there's a finish, you have to neck your drink. So we were drinking single barrel, and we were going through and doing things, and we were like, right, we're going to do it for every finish. And when we did it the last time, they were all decisions. So we said this time, every time there's a decision, we're going to fucking neck a drink. Then it just ended up being finishes. So we just ended up just getting fucking blotted. And we said, we'll do it for decisions, we'll do it for finishes. So we ended up getting absolutely wasted. But it just made me like really happy though that like sometimes as much as you think you know what's going to happen in an event, you just don't, man. And I think that's one of the reasons that you have to always cherish that this sport has something special about it, and it's the fact that you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Fucking, that's why you love this game. You never know what's going to happen.
That's why you've got to like. I think that's too many times we try to be marks in the words of like. Well, no, we try to be smarks, should I say, in the words of wrestling. If you're not familiar, a smark in wrestling is somebody that like. They don't really pretend that they believe it, but they kind of do. But they like to try and pretend that they're smarter than everybody else. Like, oh, this guy doesn't know what's actually going on. And I think we all try and do that sometimes. Then we're like, well, this is what the UFC is trying to do. And it's like, maybe sometimes they're not trying to do it. Sometimes they are. But I think sometimes we try to think too much about the sport. And it's only because we care.
Right.
But I think sometimes you have to just go, this sport's something else. It's like no other sport in the world. Like, and that's what makes it so special.
Yeah, no, I mean, look at what Yancey did after the fight. Sorry, I was looking at the picture. Yancey Medeiros went over because his Cowboy's grandmother called him over. How fucking like that's a martial artist, dude.
Exactly.
And everyone wants to look at guys like Yancey thinking he's like some kind of thug or something, or guys like even Nick and Nate, and no one realizes that there's even fucking they think it's perception is reality. I get that. You know what I mean? But the perception is wrong on a lot of these guys. Like, for example, I mean, fuck, I even give Connor his due. Dude does so much fucking charity shit behind the scenes we didn't tell anybody about, right? Yeah. A little bit came out like not too long ago, and everyone's like, get the fuck out, he don't do that. Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
and everyone,
that fucking kid at 189.
Yeah.
When he had to fly that kid over to his event because
the kid died.
Yeah, he passed away before they had a chance. Like he couldn't get medically cleared, and then he passed away before he had a chance to. But it's like it just shows you how much of a fucking
So we're still dealing with martial artists, and gentlemen, and that's what you love about the sport. There's still martial artists, and not everyone's Mike Perry.
Yeah,
not everyone's Colby Covington. Exactly. Not everyone's a dick. All right, you still have martial artists in the sport. And that's why those two guys do things on their own and everything. You know what I mean? But just as an example, I guess. Not everyone's an asshole, I guess. But that's why I'm a big fan of Yancey, dude. I'm a huge fan of Yancey because it's just the kind of guy he is.
I was just calling this out there that I saw in my mystic ball that on an even year, Cowboy don't lose. Like
Cowboy. I'm not gonna say he still has it.
I'm not.
I think he's losing a little bit. I think he's on the back end already. You know what I mean?
I agree that it was a dangerous fight that he had last night and he won.
Oh, well, he's still a gutsy bastard. Don't fucking get it twisted. He still has the skill and everything, but he didn't look like Cowboy.
I think sometimes you have to change. You have to evolve. You can't just be one way for your entirety of your career.
Okay. You don't think he looked like? You don't think he looked kind of? I'm not confused, but almost like I don't know how to explain it. Like the Cowboy that shows up when he loses. You know what I mean?
To a degree, but then he's one of those fighters that when he's fighting against somebody who he respects and there's a nice mutual, there tends to be a thing of that he isn't as not quote unquote aggressive. He's a little bit more loose. He's a little bit more loose, and that's what we saw last night. But then there's sometimes that you can tell that he's had too many fights over a short period of time, and he's a bit tired. He's a bit like leggy, but
a little worn out.
I'm saying this. I really hope that Cowboy stays at 170 to a degree. I don't want to see him cut into 55.
I don't think he will. I think he's full of shit on that. I don't think he's gonna do it. Not full of shit like he's lying, but I just think he just knows. Like I think he in his head he knows. I think he's just fishing for big fights at 155.
That's
like,
what
hey,
I
look,
mean. Yeah,
if you owe me, if you're gonna pay me enough, I'll fucking cut the weight. I'll take a leg off. I don't give a shit. But
I agree with you. I think that he would fight 155 for a fight.
For the right guy. For the right guy.
Because we know that he's not going to be able to get into the top 5 in well.
No.
That we've seen the level and people feel comfortable at 170.
Darren Till.
It's just a scary thing, man. It's just a scary thing. But
anyway, what else we got?
We'll wrap that up.
All right.
We'll kick it on that one because we'll hit up on Triggered later on in the week. So we'll recap all the beautiful things that are going on in the world, all the craziness and whatnot.
LeBron James All-Star NBA MVP. What the fuck is he's getting old. Yeah, okay.
Oh, you Golden State Warrior fans. You're a bit
fat dick.
A bit salty. And everybody was on about Kevin Durant, but look, everybody played well together. Westbrook played well together with Durant. And obviously, we saw that Kyrie Irving and LeBron managed to work the magic also. I've noticed that Eddie just dropped off. So I'm just going to do the sponsors real quick because Google Hangouts is fucking with Eddie as always. So shout out to Recepture, RECEPTA, naturals.com. They do the greatest CBD products by far, in my opinion. They do droppers, they do balms, they do body butters, and all of it's incredible for your body. And it alleviates so many different problematic symptoms that you may have. Make sure you check out receptionnaturals.com if you are in the United States and use the code with the heel hook, all one word, for 10% off your entire order. Bainstore.com, Jiu-Jitsu athletic apparel. We're going to be talking about Jiu-Jitsu in the next episode because obviously there was EDI this week in Polaris as well. But make sure you check out Bainstore.com for all your Jiu-Jitsu needs, whether it be athletic, apparel, whether it be like your spats, rash guards, etc., or if you want in jiu-jitsu artwork, and make sure you go to Bainstore.com, use the code with a heel hook, all one word, 10% off.
Legitimately, Google Hangouts can eat a dick. I'm just saying.
It can eat a booty like Paige Van Zandt. Where can the find you at?
Yeah, man. Hey, Paige, so you got a shower trick. Don't play. Nah. But you can find me on Twitter at Eli31, on Instagram at Keyboard Warriors MMA, iTunes, Keyboard Warriors MMA as well. And of course, KeyboardWarriorsMMA.com for all the shows on video on YouTube and all that. And yeah, I think that's it. We come back on Wednesday night for y'all that are fans. Come back on Wednesday night. Myself, Jesse, Fred, maybe a guest, and we'll shoot the shit.
Yay. Also, you can find me at Actual Lamprey on Twitter, and you can find me on Instagram under Actual Lamprey as well. That's ASHLEYLAMPREY. You can also find me on Snapchat, just #official. Yeah, man. Like, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, my guys. Like, we appreciate all the love and support. Make sure you leave a like as well on this video. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Share it. It means a lot to us whenever you guys give us your support. So we appreciate that. You can find this on iTunes and on SoundCloud too. That's on the Heel channel. And you can also find our Twitter, the Heel channel _.
You can find me in your girlfriend's panties.
All the way in. Hashtag rolling with Eddie.
Going deep.
Oh,
April, we going deep.
Oh, wow. Are you the brown beast then? Is that what we're going with then?
I am the brown beast, motherfuckers.
Yeah, that's what we're going with. Eddie's
I got back problems too, dog. That's what it
is. Oh Christ. With that same thing said, guys, from me and Eddie, whether you're a lover, a fighter, or a hater, peace up, A-Town down. We're out.